Hello, and how are you? It is so good to see you once again. Well, this somewhat questionable event called Halloween is upon us once again. What are your plans? Now, you might say, well, I may dress up my children as goblins, and they'll hold out these little buckets that look like little orange pumpkins. And why? We shall receive some candy without having to pay money for it. Now, here's the first thing I want to say. And you're probably going to say, what are you talking about? I say have nothing to do with Halloween. Now, I know what you're going to say. Please don't turn this off. You're going to say, wait a minute, to me. What are you talking about? Have nothing to do with one of the most fun times of the year where we all have a good time and just have a blast. Like, what are you talking about? Well, I'll be quick to add, the devil himself wants us to think that that's what he is. He's nothing but a good time. And he wants us to think this, get this, listen, that he's something cool. Like, hey, I'm the devil. I'm cool. I'm where the fun is. And fourthly, why I'm who you want to follow. Now, if I had children, for example, and they wanted to go from door to door to collect candy, I'd say, listen, I'll buy you some candy, but you're not going to dress up as a goblin and go down the street and give place to the devil. Now, I'll be quick to add, the Bible says give no place to the devil. It doesn't say, well, you can give him a little bit of place. It says give no place to him. If we dress up as goblins or anything else, we're giving him place. You might say, well, hey, it's fun to dress up in costumes and why I like candy. But let me ask you this. What does candy have to do with a person? And you see all these skeletons, mind you, for Halloween, with being a skeleton, no longer a body, but a skeleton being tormented in a place called hell. What's the connection of that with candy? Nothing that I can think of. So here's where I'm going with this. I'll give you an example. Today I went to a Dunkin' Donuts to have a coffee. I happen to like their coffee because it seems to be better than anybody's coffee. It's good coffee. I wanted a cup, and it gives you a lift like no other coffee does, and that's beside the point. This tape isn't about coffee. But when I was in there, all I saw were little pumpkins and little things like trick or treat, happy Halloween, all this kind of stuff. Cobwebs hanging off of the windows and the ceiling and things like that, okay? So again, it's very easy to be deceived. Let me give you a quick example. In the book of Revelation in the Bible, the 66th of the 66 books in the Standard Bible, you'll see, and that great dragon named Satan was cast down into a bottomless pit where he'll be chained for 1,000 years or something. Now, I may not have this exactly accurate, but there's nothing to glorify about this devil, okay? He's not where the fun is. He'll tell you he's where the fun is. There's nothing to glorify about him, okay? He's a bad devil any which way you slice him. And again, for the second time, the Bible says, give no, emphasis on the word no, place to the devil. We're giving him a place if we are to dress our children up as little gremlins or something, and we go door to door for candy. Now, here's something else, shifting gears that I'd like to say. If you can abolish slavery, why can't someone try to abolish Halloween now? With every passing year, it seems like it gets more and more and more popular. It seems like it's more and more fun, more and more something we want to celebrate. In fact, fourthly, we don't even see lights just for Christmas anymore. Now we've got orange lights to celebrate Halloween, just like we've got colorful lights to celebrate Christmas. And on a side note, there is even some Christians that won't celebrate Christmas. thinking it's pagan. Everything's pagan. I could go on and on and on. Let me just cut to the chase and talk about Easter a moment. You've ever heard of something called the Easter Bunny? What exactly is it? It's something known as the rabbit, right, of fertility. Yeah. You see how twisted and convoluted every holiday is around the entire clock of all the calendar, rather, of all 12 months? Big time convoluted. Now, here's what I'm trying to say, okay? For example, let's talk about Christmas again a moment. We call that cat here in North America Santa Claus. In England, he's known as Father Christmas. The group The Kinks once sang a song about him. And if you were in Moscow in Russia, he's called, get this one, best one of all, the three, Grandfather Frost. Now, no little kid wants to know, no, there's no such thing as reindeer. There's no such thing as some big fat fellow with beautiful blue eyes sliding down our creosote infested chimney to put little presents down there and things like that. No little child wants to know that they've been duped, that the wool has been pulled over their eyes and they've been told some kind of tall tale. Okay, we don't want to spoil it for them, right? I understand what you're thinking. Okay, but let's talk about Halloween a moment. Okay, there's with every time it comes, I'm thinking, not this again. That's what goes through my head. You see these pumpkins and stuff? Don't get me started. Let's talk about the pumpkin a moment. I don't understand this fully, but a jack-o'-lantern was, from the best I can tell, was supposed to be human flesh dripping inside of it. That's why they put the candle in it. I mean, on and on it goes. Look, it is so satanic, it ain't even funny. But what does the devil want you to say? Again, for the second time, he wants you to think, hey, this is cool. This is what we want to immerse our brains in. No, you don't want to. There's a place called hell that not everybody talks about. It's deep within the earth. There's passage after passage in the Bible about this place called hell. It even talks about people being swallowed up alive, falling into hell. Now, why, may I ask, would we want to glorify a place like that? What's to glorify about eternal torment, suffering, and screams of agony of people in torment? There's nothing to glorify about that. So, in summary and in closing of what I'm trying to say on this tape, we shouldn't glorify Halloween. We shouldn't act like, oh, it's Halloween again. Let's dress up in a costume. Let's go out there and have some fun. Again, the Bible says, give no place to the devil. Give him no place. He wants a place. He wants a place in your heart, mind, and soul. And he wants you to focus upon him instead of us to focus upon Jesus, the cross, and the Bible. Don't do it. Don't give place, in closing, to someone named the devil, okay, that is not looking out for your best interests, does not care about you one iota, and wants you to go to this terrible place called hell. The Bible also says, in closing, the great deceiver that deceived that great dragon known as Satan, this may not be word for word, that deceived the whole world, okay, was cast into it. Now, he's the great deceiver. He wants to deceive us, in closing, okay, into thinking that Halloween is just a good time. It's a lot of fun. He's deceiving you. He doesn't want you to know what it's really about. We're celebrating hell. We're celebrating souls in torment, suffering. Why do you see skeletons again? Because that's what the body is when it gets there. You can't discern whether a man is a man or a woman's a woman. And I'll close with this. All right. Here's what's been documented. There have been people, get this, on operating tables, okay, that have died for a temporary period of time, and they've come back. And when they came back, they said, oh, I'm in hell. I don't want to go back there again. You know, it's terrible. Okay, it's depressing to talk about this stuff, okay, but but they went to hell. They got a glimpse of it. They said, oh, I never want to go back to that place. So in closing, do we want to, on every October 31st, celebrate a place that we don't want to go to? If people go there, they don't want to go back. So why are we celebrating it like it's something cool, you see? That's what the devil wants us to think, is that it's so cool and everything. I think it's disgusting. The whole thing, all of it. Pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, skeletons, just all of this stuff, spiders. How about spiders crawling all over your body? It doesn't even, you don't even talk about how in hell there is no rest day or night. The smoke of their torment goeth up forever and ever. There's a smell, thirdly, a smell like sulfur, which is one of the most terrible things you can smell. So in all this celebration of Halloween, nobody talks about those things. So in closing, if you're going to celebrate Halloween, think about what you're celebrating. If you have children, I wouldn't send them out there dressed up in costumes. It's not about how dangerous it is. That's another thing altogether. What could be put in the candy and all this, okay? That you wouldn't want them to eat. Let's not even go there, okay? But what are we celebrating, okay? We're celebrating the devil. We're celebrating hell. We're celebrating a place that no one in their right mind would want to go to. What kind of sense does that make? It makes, dear people, it makes no sense at all. So if you think this time about Halloween, let's go out and celebrate it, I strongly suggest that you think again. What are you celebrating? You're celebrating a place called hell inside of the earth, all right, that no one wants to go to. Talk about a holiday, in closing, that should be abolished. Boy, howdy, that one should be. If we can abolish slavery, again, I've said this already, we should be able to abolish Halloween. That's my feeling, okay? I think it's disgusting to give any place to the devil to talk about what he's all about, which is what we're doing, but he comes along like, hey, this is cool, this is a lot of fun, you're going to have a good time. What he doesn't tell you is what's going to happen if you do go to hell. It'll be anything but a good time. And I'll say this in closing. There's rock stars that have told people that hell is going to be a party. All my friends are going to be there too. No, you won't be around your friends. You'll be isolated and in torment for eternity. People, we have got to think about this thing seriously. Don't celebrate Halloween, okay? It's just, with every passing Halloween, you see it becoming greater and greater, like a bigger, quote, holiday, unquote, okay? It's one they ought to just knock off the calendar, is all I can say. We should just talk about it no more. Can't stress enough. In closing, the Bible says, give no place to the devil. Don't give him a place. He doesn't deserve a place. He's a devil that's a ruthless devil. That's why this channel is titled Think Heaven, because we want to think about a place we do want to go to instead of a place we don't want to go to. And that says it all, my dear listeners. Please think about what's on this tape. And please subscribe if you like it. Boy, I'd love to see some more subscribers. I don't have many. Boy, it goes at a snail's pace. So push that button. What do you think? I'll see you the next time. And until then, may Jesus Christ of Nazareth, that fellow who reigns in heaven, the contrast of hell, forevermore, bless your life currently here on earth. Bye-bye.